Let me take you to the molecular immunology class quickly. For the last 15 minutes, I will going to introduce. It will going to be an easy ride for you because we have talked a lot about all these things, and I just need to introduce you about some of the components and fighters and members of the immune system. Let's meet with the soldiers. Let's meet with the people who fight on our behalf. Let's meet with the people who are struggling, striving, and fighting for us, for the sake of us. So let's see. I will going to share and introduce you about the cells of the immune system. Okay. The first thing. Let's move. There are three cell types of the immune system. The first are called as lymphocytes. Usually, you will get confused a lot about these terms. The lymphocytes. They are more general term or general word to share. The lymphocytes. They are like the fighters, the militia. The ones who, and then there are the phagocytes, the ones who are supposed to pick the things, the ones who are supposed to eat the things, the ones who are supposed to collect the things. They are the ones, the bad guy is there, a bacteria is there, so a cell should go and capture that thing. Actually, वो खा जाता है उसको, phagocytosis करता है. That is why it is called as the phagocyte. So whenever I term a one particular cell, that cell is a phagocyte, that means it's a part of the immune system, and it has a potential and ability to eat the bad thing. Okay, they are the phagocytes. And then we have the natural killer cells. Oh my God, they are the killers. They are the real killers. They are the ones who designed to kill the other cells. They are one who designed to kill the other bacteria. So they are the natural killer cells. And there are the natural killer cells present in our body. They are part of the innate immune system, already there, waiting for the bad things to come. You know, they are snipers over the borders, waiting for the intruder. They're like that. They're just killers. They can kill things. Okay. So the first, let's see the phagocytes. They're the first line of defense. They often attack and remove the microorganisms before the lymphocytes or the cell-mediated stuff actually came into action. The lymphocytes are supposed to be the T cells and the beta cells. And now we know about the terms related to these things. But before them, the phagocytes came into action. They are the ones at the site of entry, at the point of intrusion, जहाँ पर intrusion हुआ है, जहाँ पर aliens ने penetrate किया है, bacteria ने penetrate किया skin में, they came there and they start eating that bacteria at that time. There are two types. The one is called as macrophage. They are present in the blood. The other are called as macrophage. They are present in the peripheral tissue. Remember the difference between the two. The one lives in the blood, but I told you the blood cannot reach everywhere. In my earlier talk, I shared that thing. So blood is not able to reach every part of our body because they are the cells out there, the tissues out there, and the spaces between the tissues. So certain cells from the bloodstream, they came out from the blood and they make the lymph. If you remember the earlier lecture, the lymphatic system, and then that lymph contains the phagocytes that actually lives over there between the tissues and between the cells. So if a bacteria enters into the blood, you can expect kaun khayega usko? Those will be the macrophages. If a bacteria managed to enter and penetrate into the skin, it is residing between the cells. Kaun usko pakadega, capture karega? Macrophages. So usually you will see the name of macrophage for that purpose. And then there are other cells, the lymphocytes. The one is called as the T cells. I told you about the cells. There are four different types of T cells. They are called as thymus dependent cell. They're called as thymus dependent cells. The thymus, I told you, they're produced, mature in thymus. They are called as thymus dependent cell. I should draw. And the special thing about the T cell is that they are carrying one very special sort of receptor called MHC, the major histocompatibility complex. उनकी पहचान है, T cells की पहचान है, the presence of this special receptor. There's one full chapter we will be studying about that receptor, the MHC. Remember, this is the receptor which helps the cells to communicate, which helps the cells to talk to the other cells. That's very important. Which helps the cells to listen and to get the information from the other cells. The major histocompatibility complex. This is their pehchan of the T cells. This is their the marker. The first type of the T cells are called as cytotoxic T cells. They are very mobile. They seek and they can go out, move, and they can destroy the abnormal or infected cells. Remember that they are not killing the microorganisms. I'm not talking about they are going and killing the bad thing. No, they are going and killing our own body cells which were infected. For example, Allah na kare, if a person receives hepatitis C virus, the hepatitis C virus will not going to infect the heart. It will not going to infect the lung cells. It will reside in the liver cells because the structure, the proteins of that virus somehow feel very much comfortable with the receptors and proteins present in the liver cells. So they go there, they start entering into trying to penetrate into a liver cell. They hijack the nucleus of the liver cell, and then they pushes the nucleus to produce the proteins related to the virus, and then the liver cell is harboring large number of virus. That liver cell is no longer working for our cells. That liver cell is now a Gaddar liver cells because it is working for the sake of the virus. So the cytotoxic T cells, they have the ability, they are one type of the T cell. They are one type of the T cells, but they know the difference between a healthy and the normal liver cell and the liver cell which is harboring the virus. So they will go and kill the infected liver cell. But you might be wondering that who will, that's very interesting, na? एक T cell है जिसको पता है कि infected cell में और normal cell में क्या फर्क है. Somebody should educate that person. Somebody should tell or help that T cells to know what is the difference between a normal T cell and an infected T cell. And our adaptive immune system help that cytotoxic T cells to know किसको मारना है और किसको नहीं मारना. And please note that information in your mind. It's a very critical sentence I'm telling you. Allowing a cell to kill another human cell is a very sensitive task. It's a very sensitive task. We usually do not like to give that freedom to any cell. Human cells are very strong to kill. And in our country, I mean, or in other countries, that sensitive right, the license to kill, is given to the policemen or to the army people, something like that. They are the ones who, under certain circumstances, they are allowed to kill somebody. Not every one of us. So even if the person is a murderer, we are not supposed to kill that person. But in certain circumstances, the policemen, because they were trained, they know this is the right person, this is the wrong person, this is the good guy, this is the bad guy. It's supposed to be. They're supposed to know. And that is why they are allowed to kill them. It's a very sensitive job. The cytotoxic T cells are doing a very sensitive job because they have the potential to kill the human cell. शाबाश, क्या नाम है तेरा? काशिम ने कहा कि सर अगर ये सेल खुद खराब हो जाए, पुलिस वाला अल्लाह ना करे, I don't want to mention that name, but अगर वो खुद खराब हो जाए, then you can imagine the chaos. If the cytotoxic T cell खराब कैसे होगा? Number one, वो infected cells को नहीं मार रहा. खराबी की एक वजह तो ये है, it's not killing the infected cells. What will happen? The infection will grow. खराबी की दूसरी वजह क्या है? दूसरी extreme क्या है? They will started killing the right cells. ये एक और trouble है. Both of them can lead to the death and destruction. और अगर हम जरा out of the box सोचें, like an undergrad student, I'm not, but let's suppose, अगर कोई माइका लाल, झूले लाल, अगर कोई आप लोगों में से बहादुर, मुझे एडिट करना पड़ेगा वैसे, अगर कोई आप लोगों में से बहादुर स्टूडेंट इमेजिन करे, थिंक करे, how about engineering us, because cytotoxic cells, cytotoxic T cells, they know किसको मारना है, किसको नहीं मारना. Somehow they differentiate between the cells. I'm not talking about infected normal. Somehow they know that I am not going to kill this one, but I will going to kill this one. If we engineer the cytotoxic T cells to design and allows that cytotoxic T cell to kill the cell of our own choice, because it has a potential to kill the cells, all we need to do is to hypnotize that cytotoxic T cell, is to, uska dimag kharab karne ke. All we need to do is engineer the cytotoxic T cell. How about that? In that case, it will not going to kill you, it will not going to kill me, it will not going to kill X, not going to kill Y, not going to kill Z, it will going to kill the person we have designed against it. Targeted killing. Target killing. वो सारी उसका हिस्सा ही है. अब इतना ज्यादा नॉलेज है ना मैच का, बस इसी को एंजॉय कर ले फिलहाल जो. Are you getting the thing like this? Cytotoxic इनकी सेंसिटिविटी क्या है? सेंसिटिव सबसे खास बात अगर आपको साइटोटॉक्सिक टी सेल्स का पोटेंशियल खास बात क्या है? They can kill a cell. Human cell नहीं मरते, human cells. It's very rare. So we are allowing a cell to kill, license to kill. So we should educate that cell a lot before giving them that license. किसको जाके मारना है किसको? I will show you in the future. Some people believe that the killing is always brutal. Killing is also not always brutal. अगर आप mantis को जानते हैं, grasshopper को जानते हैं, I mean the killing, the cells, they can kill the other cell if they're able to trigger the death signaling cascade. Just needs to touch that receptor, one single receptor, and the other cell will die from itself. I used to term it as a kiss of death, a touch and go. I will share in the future that how they're able to kill the cell eventually at the end of the day. So every of our cell, it contains a secret receptor, hidden receptor. You can call it as a death receptor, because maybe each and every one of cell can go against us. हमारा कोई भी एक सेल है जो हमारे खिलाफ हो सकता है, कभी भी किसी भी टाइम हमें कभी भी उसको मारना पड़ सकता है. So nature ने हर सेल को वो death receptor दी. Somehow it is not expressed in every cell, but that can be expressed. That can be reached to kill that cell. Anyways, ठीक है? Other T cells are called as helper T cells. Remember, we are studying the type of T cell. The helper T cell is the second type of T cell, and those are the T cells which helps the beta cells so that they can activate and produce antibodies. I wish you remember my earlier lecture. I shared that thing in one of the slides, that the beta cells can produce antibodies and they are supported by the T cells to produce antibodies. And the support was given by what? The support was given by the helper T cells. T cells की एक किस्म जिसका नाम है helper T cells, they are designed to support the beta cells in their proliferation as well as in making more antibodies. Okay, and then they allow them to go further. And then we have suppressors. That's very important. And we talked about it, that at the end of the immune reaction, when everything is done, we have managed to remove the infection, we have managed to kill the bad things, we have managed to kill the pathogen. So there are a lot of proliferation, lot of cell divisions, lot of new cells are out there in the market at the site of infection. सूज जाता है ना, जहाँ पर चोट लगती है वहाँ पर swelling हो जाती है. Lot of cells are going there, lot of cells are dividing and new cells are producing and trying to fight against the pathogen. Now once the job is done, everything is finished. At that time, this is the time when we need to reverse that procedure. Whatever the extra cells are out there, whatever the cells which are no longer required now because the pathogen is gone, all the new cells which were created and they're no longer required, they need to be deleted. So we need certain cells which are capable of deleting those cells, and they are called as the suppressors. They are acting like a balance, not allowing the immune system to overreact. And please note that very important information, that many deaths, especially in the US, which were reported because they usually publish a lot of their data. Many deaths, they came because of the overreaction of the immune system. It is called as cytokine storm. मैंने इसको introduce किया था हल्का सा. When their immune system started overreacting, producing a lot of cells over there. So we need a balanced activity. We need a calculated move, that how many cells are required to execute the immune function. And after the immune activity, we need to delete them as well. And remember, we need to delete only the cells which are no longer required. अगर वहाँ पर 4 किस्म की infections हैं, and 3 other infections are going on, so the suppressor cells will only going to delete the cells of the antigen type 4. जिसकी infection खत्म हो चुकी है. They will not going to touch the cells which are still fighting, which are still required. So ये भी specific होते हैं for the antigen. So these are the suppressor cells जो के इसको overreaction से लो. And the most important ones, you can consider the memory cells. The memory cells. They are the ones who, after the immune reaction, they are produced and they keep the memory of that antigen, of that bad thing. The memory cells carries that what type of antibodies are required to be produced. They remember the combination. They remember the winning combination, the working combination. So when the same infection came once again, we do not need to proceed with all the adaptive immune system with that much strength. We do not need to consume that much resources, because the functional or working drug or the working molecule is already preserved and saved in the memory cells. So the adaptive immune system, after infecting with the same virus, will only trigger the memory cells, and the memory cell will start affecting the beta cells and the T cells, and we have the antibodies in our body in a very short period of time. And we can kill that infection more easily in the second exposure. The second wave is not supposed to be stronger than the first wave. Understand that thing. But we are looking at a very different data. जो मैंने आपको data दिखाया वो अलग है ना. उसमें second wave is like more than twice, almost thrice. If a person is infected, he should not be infected again. So that means they are all new infections. मेरी बात समझ आ रही है ना? That means it's all new infections. वो पहले जो बच गए थे, country ने बर्दाश्त कर लिया था. Number of infections started lowering down, and then somebody else harbored the virus for us. Who was the somebody else who managed to keep the virus? The India at that time, the South America at that time, because USA and I must say Europe particularly, they managed to curb it. They managed to pull down the number of infections very well. But the virus was there on the other side of the planet. It's in South America, it's in India, and people are traveling all over the world. So that is why the World Health Organization and the scientists out there, they are telling you again and again, we need to live with this virus, because it's quite complicated. You are actually closing down the virus at one part of the world, but somehow if it is surviving the other part of the world, it will come back again. There's only one solution. And what was that solution? That you should have a vaccine, and that's all. And that is the case for the polio virus. Why they are worrying? Why they are putting that much effort on us? Because we are harboring the virus. We're the only one who are harboring the virus. And although, अब imagine करो हमने COVID-19 को हराना है. I'm sorry to speak in this way. Polio virus को नहीं हमने हराया, जिसकी vaccine भी है हमारे पास. We're not able to give the vaccine to the people. The polio virus. तो हम कैसे expect करते हैं कि we able to deal with the COVID-19 in the same way? Okay, I wish you remember all these things. And then the other line of defense, the beta cell, I will going to talk in the next class.